Hello everybody, I'm Drew, I'm that frog guy, and today I'm showing you how to make that. So let's get to it. So the first thing you guys are going to need is to get an Exo Terra. This is an 18 by 18 by 12 inch Exo Terra with a mesh top. We'll be removing this today. This will be the main building area. We'll be doing the background along this wall. I'm going to skip doing the sides. I sometimes don't like how it ends up looking on the sides, so we'll leave it like this. You're also going to need, we'll go through our supplies here. Besides the Exo Terra, you're going to need, one of the best things is gaps and cracks. Great stuff. I use this pretty much for every one of my builds. You can't really do it without it, because you gotta keep your background materials stuck to the back, which we'll be using a piece of cork bark. I just got a random piece from my local reptile store. I'm going to break it up, kind of mix it in, we'll kind of play around with some layouts quickly and we'll settle on something. You don't have to. You don't even need the cork bark, really. It depends how natural you. I also got this nice piece of driftwood, manzanita wood. I might put that in the back. We'll see how much coverage I get with the cork bark. I personally like the more cork bark, the better. But you can just do foam and eco earth. I've seen plenty of them done that way. It's gonna get covered in plants eventually, anyways. So that's always thing. I just like being able to drill into the cork wood bark to put your bromeliads and stuff. Other things you're going to need, at least in this first part, rubber gloves. This is very important once you start using the gaps and cracks stuff. This sticks to your skin and clothing and everything, and it is hard to get off, so I do recommend that. The next step after that, you'll have seen in one of my other videos, is you're going to be putting silicone on, covering up whatever the foam pieces you have out to make it water resistant, and being able to glue on, essentially, your cocoa fiber in the gaps that are left that you don't cover up with wood. So I always use GE Silicone 1. It has no mold. It's 100% silicone. I always use this. You can go clear if you want. I usually do black for background, so if a little bit of your coconut fiber comes off, or you didn't get a good enough stick, you'll at least have a black area and you won't see it as badly as the clear. Obviously you're going to need a caulking, I don't know what these things are called, gun. You're going to need one of those, but you're not going to need it right away. And you're also going to need gloves for that process too, so remember, because silicone is just nasty, you're going to need to use your hands. You're going to be sliding your hands in on the background to apply it. You guys can see a more in-depth video on one of my other videos that I've done on the background where I kind of do more step by step by step. But we're going to just kind of go and do this Exo Terra right in front of you guys. So I'm going to set the camera down. So we're going to start from a side view. I'm just going to kind of map this out in my head a little bit. I know the cork pieces don't need to go all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to leave a good couple inch gap there because that's how deep our substrate will be. I'm just going to break the cork in pieces and we'll go from there. Well, that's a little harder than I thought it would be. There we go. It will create a mess, don't worry about it. Easily swept up.
few minutes later.
After a lot of fighting, this is how I've decided to lay this tank out. As you guys can see, we got the main chunk of wood in the middle. We'll just pull you up. And you can see from the side, I kind of wanted to keep that hollow area. I ended up having to break the wood a little bit to get it to sit in there nicely. But I think we'll foam this guy in and we'll see how it turns out. Let's get the camera in a safer position first. Let's move you to the other side. So this is where you'll need your gloves.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
I've now settled on a placement for the piece of wood, kind of in the center. I want to be able to see most of it because the substrate will be up to here probably. Half of this space will be dirt and this little chunk might be a little under dirt. I don't know if you can see it very well. But that's pretty much what you guys want to do, is leave about 2-inch gap, pretty much the width of the Exo Terra down, clear of wood and foam. And then the rest of this can be all your wood and all your planting area. So I'm going to take my spray foam and fill up underneath all these spots and kind of start building up some foam. The foam will need to sit for a whole extra day. What you do, get your gloves on, kind of simple. It's got a little screw-in end and a screw-in end here, and you just kind of whoopity-woo. And we'll just do some quick foaming in and we'll see how it goes. This is where you can play around and really make a cool design that fits you, but I'm gonna make sure I don't need to shake this first. The background has cured, and I have it standing up. We'll just get a little close shot while we're at it. Kind of see how our background turned out. Now what you do is you start peeling out all of this foam. You can use a tool, you can tear, and it just kind of comes off like that. So let's just get started. If you want to use a tool, I use a bent steak knife and just a regular steak knife to kind of do the you guys kind of get the point. I'm gonna go do this and I'll show you guys the after part.
A few minutes later.
Now that I'm done with peeling all the chunks of foam out, you can kind of see how the background's gonna look here. You can see there's a couple holes, it'll look through, it'll look a lot better. So the next main step is to do the silicone. So get your GE1 silicone, and you're gonna want your so you're gonna get your GE Silicone 1, and then you're going to caulk over all the foam spots that are showing. This is gonna be pretty hard, so I'm not gonna do any of it on camera. I'm gonna be not happy with this whole project because there's a lot of little tight spots I gotta get into, and I'm gonna be using some dowels that I've used in the past and my fingers. So this is another point where you're going to want to use your gloves. This is a messy point. You're going to probably get it on your clothing, so have paper towels or something around. Make sure as soon as you set this thing down, it's going to be leaking everywhere. You can clean up the glass with the razor blade, so don't worry too much. So get yourselves a razor blade. But we're going to go at it. You can see kind of my mess. If you want to, you can take, this is time you can stick and silicone in chunks of wood. You're also going to need, this is the point where you get your eco work and make sure it's dry. So I like to buy a bag for this. And then you're going to be applying handfuls to the background, and I'll kind of show you guys that as we go, I guess. So first, let's clear out the last bits of the foam. Make sure nothing's in here. And next part is my least favorite, but also the most important part. So set you guys up here so you guys get a top down look at what I'm doing. And I'm going to set this thing on its back. I do not know how that looks on camera yet. Boop. So we'll start just doing. But first, the thing you're going to need to do with your silicone is cut the tip off. I'm going to cut it off just barely. Luckily, every one of these things come with a little poker to pop the seal, which you want to pop the seal before putting any pressure on the back, otherwise you'll have this situation where it explodes. It still can explode if like the seal reseals itself, but I usually go ahead and cut a small chunk off. They make tools for this, but a knife will work. You can see I just cut the tip off. And then you're going to want to insert this rod, and you'll hear a pop, and then you should be good to go. I'm going to start by just getting it locked in and see if I can get some to pop out over here. There we go. And it'll keep leaking and leaking and leaking. So I'm going to start small and let that pool up a little bit. I'm going to go all my important tools out of the way. And this is where you want to put some gloves on, because getting silicone off your hands is not fun. And you can do it that way. I'm going to use my fingers, because that's what I'm good at. And you can use the gun to get up in here. And you will get it everywhere. But you guys don't need to watch me do this part.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay guys, I got the background on, or at least you guys can take a look at now. It's looking pretty darn cool if you ask me. I did get some on the glass. I will trim up some of the edges. And you can see I was going to do some more of showing you how to do it, but it's really hard to do on camera with my setup I got down here. So what you do is you take your silicone, you know, and then you just put this on it as you go. Don't let the silicone get too dry, and that's pretty much how you do it. I see a spot that I missed right there. I'll stick some more silicone into that spot, and I'll be finding spots like this for the next day, but I'm gonna let it dry and let it sit for a day, and then I'm gonna suck out all the stuff and see if I have any more foam showing. And if I do, I'll reapply more silicone to that area. You can see the mess I have made. It's not a clean project, so make sure you guys have a separate table or whatever to do this project, because you're going to create a mess. Okay guys, the silicone is finished drying, and our background is applied. We'll do some quick looks. There's probably a couple of little spots I'll still touch up as we go, little spots I may have missed. But for right now, I'm really liking the way the background came out. Give you a good back away. Definitely looks very, very natural looking. We got a cool little crevasse to hide down in there. There's a little bit of foam showing that I'm going to touch up here in a little bit. Some of it will scrape off, so it looks like it's on the wood. But I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. We still have plenty of space, so the rock or the water won't really reach into the foam, which is sometimes a concern, generally not. I got a little bit of scraping of silicone to do along the edges to kind of make it a little tighter to the profile, but just looking at it straight on, it looks really, really nice. So this is pretty much how you guys do a custom background for your vivarium build for your Exo Terra. Everyone's gonna do something slightly different, but I really love doing the silicone with a lot of wood. It just looks a little more natural than just doing all coconut fiber, because I mean that looks pretty good and it'll be covered with plants, but you're gonna be spending a lot of time looking at it ungrown out, so it looks really cool when you get plants. Also, bromeliads and stuff, you can just like you can stick them right in these crevasses, little holes, whatever you want, and they can be covering the background. But yeah, that is my background build for an Exo Terra 18 by 18 by, or 12 by 12 by 18. Please like, subscribe, and if you want to see more content to the rest of this build, please hit that bell icon, subscribe, you know what to do. The next part will be putting the bottom in and planting. I think I'll do all that at the same time. I'm thinking my new standard thought is, since I'll be putting a misting system on this and all my other tanks, I'm going to put a little pond in one of the corners so I can siphon out water when it gets too full, because I'm not going to drill the bottom of the tank or the side or something. I always like just having a little natural pond where I can suck water out if I want to. This will be for the green tree frogs or the gray tree frogs temporarily. It might turn into a dart frog tank eventually, but I really like the way the background came out on this one. So you guys, I'll see you guys, and we'll have some more content here soon. Definitely subscribe if you have not. I'm liking this build already, and I can't wait to do a planting video, since I keep forgetting to do a planting video on camera. I always end up doing it off camera, and then you guys don't get to see me deliberate placement. So you guys get to see me deliberate placement this time. So you guys know what to do. I'll see you guys next time.